I'm Christopher Cabaldon. I'm the mayor of Northwest Elk Grove. Happy to be with you today, all the way from West Sacramento. So we're here this morning on a Saturday. This is not a work day. We're here on a Saturday to have fun and to raise funds to get Bobby elected to the school board. You know, I have known Bobby for a long time, not as long as everybody in Elk Grove, though. Bobby's been in the same house for almost 40 years in the community. And I am so excited about Bobby's candidacy, the blend that we'll hear about more today of activism and a strong sense of values and purpose, married with the knowledge from the inside of the State Department of Education, like how does stuff work? What are the opportunities? Where's the money? Who's keeping that money where? And the ability to bring people together, to organize, because real change doesn't happen just by voting at a board, but it's about rallying a community and communities together to make change. I'm not the only one. Bobby's going to be a terrific school board member, and a lot of my colleagues who are elected officials are also strongly supporting him as well. And so we're joined today by several elected officials, Chet, Madison, who we'll hear from in just a moment, who is the trustee for Area 3 today and has been since the year 2000 in Elk Grove Unified School District, and Dave Tamayo, who, if you joined us at the very beginning of the morning, you saw Dave is our tree watering, beard sporting director from the Sacramento Municipal Utility District Board, as well as members of the host committee and elected officials who have been financial supporters and sponsors of Bobby's campaign as well. There are many of them who weren't able to join us today, or at least not yet, but you can see that Bobby has a strong list of elected supporters in the community, and thanks to all of you and to them for their support. But most of you know Bobby at least as well as any elected official does. And you know him in one aspect of his life or another. Maybe if you're lucky, you know him in 3 or 4 aspects of his life, but there's so much more to Bobby Roy than any one of us knows. And so to help us out a little bit, you can see some more of our elected official supporters on the screen right now, just to highlight them again. In addition to those I've already introduced, Darren Soon, member of the City Council here in Elk Grove, Jacqueline Moreno from the Casumas Community Services District. Many of you know Rob Bonta, the California State Assembly member, Tammy Nelson from the Los Rios Community College Board, John Moore from the Vice Mayor of the City of Cotati, and Raymond James Irwin from the Fair Oaks Recreation and Parks District. And this list keeps growing. Every time I see it, I didn't even have the list in advance because more and more elected officials and community leaders are coming on board with Bobby every single day. So we all know a little bit about Bobby, or maybe a little or some about Bobby, but to help out here on Saturday for a little bit of fun, we've developed a special video slideshow to help all of us get to know Bobby just a little bit better. So let's roll the video. I love this because it's you know, the last picture was the only picture of Bobby standing alone. Right, so we're not looking at a bunch of glam shots of Bobby. What we saw just now is Bobby the person, and always standing with others, lifting them up. And if you look closely in each picture, what you saw were people who looked like they just accomplished something together, and they had big hopes about what they were going to do next. And that's exactly the kind of leader that Bobby Roy is. So at this point, we're going to recognize all the members of the host committee who've donated their own time and money to help Bobby win the Elk Grove Unified School District board seat on November 3rd. So thanks again to our host committee and to all of the sponsors. If you haven't supported yet financially, there's no time like the present. You can check out the chat and click on the link that we'll put there to make a contribution even right now, or a couple, or you can make one every 5 minutes during our fun time this morning together on Saturday. So next we're going to hear from some very special supporters who are going to share why they've chosen to support Bobby. And we're going to start with maybe the most important one. Chet Madison has led Area 3's representation on the Elk Grove Unified School District Board since the year 2000. He has been a champion for Elk Grove young people, for Area 3 in particular. But like Bobby, he's also been a statewide leader on so many big policy issues and helping state policy be informed by what the needs of real children and teachers and classified staff and parents and neighborhoods are at the local level. He has a strong record of representation. He served as board president many, many times. And I know he loves Elk Grove. He loves Elk Grove Unified, and he loves the communities that he's represented on that board. And he's taken great care to make sure that his legacy and the future of this community and the board is as bright as it possibly can be. That's why he's supporting Bobby. So let's turn it over. Chet, if you wouldn't mind unmuting. Let's hear a few words from Chet Madison from the Elk Grove Unified School District Board of Trustees, Area 3, the incumbent.
Good morning. Thank you, Mayor Cabaldon, being here this morning. Just kind of a brief overview of my background a little bit. I think it was mentioned that I've been part of the Elk Grove Unified School District for 2 decades, actually now. It's been a while. And I've had 4 children that have gone through this district, and one is teaching in our district right now, and I've had 10 grandchildren go through the district, actually 3 left. So I just want to just give you that brief overview of myself, that I believe in this district very hardly, and I want to make certain that we have the right candidate to continue on the legacy. The one thing that this Area 3 has had, we've had a lot of longevity here. My predecessor also served 20 years in this district. And it shows you the continuity and the strong leadership we've had in our district, or in Area 3, for many years. I'm not advocating that or suggesting that Bobby's going to be here for 20 years like a lot of us, but I do feel that Bobby is the right person for this job, that he's been here a long time. I've been in this area for over 40 years myself, right in the Valley High region. So I'm vested here. I want to be here, and I also want to support Bobby as he matriculates on into hopefully becoming the board in Area 3. I've been very impressed with Bobby for the last couple of months, actually. He and I have had a lot of dialogue, a lot of talk, and what is needed in this area. It's an area that we have a lot of impoverished kids here that we really have to pay attention to make sure that the equity lens is on at all times in terms of the educational aspect, but also the social well-being of the district as well. Elk Grove Unified School District, as most of you know, is the largest school district in Northern California, the 5th and the largest in the state. And we are rapidly growing right now. We're in the process of opening up another elementary school. Will be I think our 48th school, elementary school that is, 48 of them. So, and then the one thing about our district, as even an Area 3 representative, you must be cognizant of all the district. And I think Bobby has that ability with his background. He's involved with education at the state level and also with the legislatures there. So I'm highly impressed. I highly recommend that we support Bobby, and that I think he's just going to do a wonderful job. Thank you.
Chet, thank you so much for those powerful words about Bobby and where they come from, which is a legacy of helping to lead what is one of the state's most respected school districts. Elk Grove Unified is a district that has a tremendous reputation among education leaders and teachers. and also among parents and families. And as Chet has highlighted, that doesn't mean it has that there's a tremendous amount of work to do, and particularly for the residents and the families and the children of Area 3. The legacy that Chet is leaving is what a tremendous foundation for Bobby for the next 20 years to be serving. So Chet, thank you so much for your work. Next, we're going to hear from Christina Chun. And Christina is a teacher at Cosumnes Oaks High School and an alumni of the district itself. So Christina, if you wouldn't mind unmuting your line and saying a few words. And as Christina's coming on, just let me know, Vince Ellis has challenged all of us. He just made a donation. He was so inspired by what Chet had to say. And so he's challenging each of us to kick in a little bit into the hopper today too, and the link is in the chat. Christina, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hi everyone, my name is Christina Chun Moslen, and I have been teaching in the district now for 15 years. I teach theater at Cosumnes Oaks High School. I'm also the Performing Arts Department Chair. And I was also named 2020 Teacher of the Year last year, so I'm really excited to be here. I gotta admit though, I'm a little biased. So, because I once went to this brand new school, right? This brand new school called Union House Elementary, right? And I remember being at Union House and getting my yearbook. I'm in the 3rd grade, getting my yearbook for the first time. And he might know where this is going. But I get this yearbook and there's this drawing on the front and it says either logo by Bobby Roy or drawn by Bobby Roy. So he was my Commander Mark. I mean, he's only a few years older than me, but I mean, he was somebody that I looked up to, you know, and that's how I first got to know his name, was because he drew the logo for our school. So that just goes to show how long I've known Bobby. You know, we've been friends for a long time, and you know, past paths through the community. And one thing I can tell you about Bobby, you know, fast forward now 30 years, is that he is definitely about the community. Every single rally, every single fundraiser, every single community event, he's there, and he also is sharing that information. I'm going to say this jokingly, but it's the truth. Like, I would not have known, you know, we all get our information from Facebook these days, you know, but I would not have known that Governor Newsom was doing a 12 o'clock press release every day if it wasn't for Bobby and his watch parties on Facebook. Like, I am a little ashamed to admit that, but honestly, that I wouldn't know. But that's who Bobby is. You know, he wants to make sure that the entire community, his community, knows what's going on. He wants to make sure that people are informed. And he's been doing this for me personally for the last 30 years. And that's why I say with pride that, you know, I endorse him. I wish that our family was a family that had a lot of expendable income, and that we could, you know, donate more, because truthfully, people need to know who Bobby is. We need to see his name on every corner, and people need to know that this is someone who has proven time and time again that he is here for his community, and he is here to really serve those who need it the most. I don't think he even remembers this, but this was about 5-6 years now. I knew that he worked for the state of education, as the state in education. And so I asked him his opinion because I wanted to pursue a career in administration. And I was debating, I really didn't want to get a degree in education administration. I was really I had a passion in business. And so I asked him. It was just informally. I don't even think he knows if he remembers this conversation. But he actually was the person who inspired me to obtain my master's in business. And so now I have a master's of business administration from Sac State. He had a personal investment in my education, and for that I'm so grateful. But that also gives me the confidence that not only does he have an investment in my education, but he will have an investment and has had an investment in the education of our young people. So I hope that people will join me in endorsing him as well.
Christina, thank you so much for the personal stories. And we said that part of the role of a trustee is to represent the people to the district, but just as important it is to represent education and opportunity and possibility back to the people, and connect and uplift individuals and see their possibilities and ask questions and nudge both directions. And so your story is so powerful, and especially right now with so many families and households struggling with distance learning and everything else, and particularly how hard teachers are working in order to cope and provide support, often caring for their own children at the same time. Thank you so much for your leadership, for what you're doing every day, and for your really powerful words about Bobby too. So thank you. Now, I also said this is a fundraiser, and so to help us celebrate, we have a very special performance this morning from the local Halal Otahi Marama. This performance is performed by a group of students from, you guessed it, Elk Grove Unified School District. It's a celebratory Tahitian dance choreographed to accompany the song Faora by Sepa. So let's enjoy the video. Oh, wow, that was amazing. Thanks, Otahi Marama. That was an incredible performance, and great to have fun, but also to recognize just the tremendous talent and hope for the future and excitement that young people in our community bring. And that's who it's about. It's been a tough few months, maybe a tough 24 hours, but that spirit of the performance is just a reminder of who we're here for, and also our obligation to get excited, to have fun, and to rally ourselves and the community around Bobby's campaign. So thanks so much. We're now going to hear from a few more special supporters who are going to share with us why they're supporting Bobby for Elk Grove Area 3. Kishaun, Thorntona is a parent in the district, and Kishaun, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and sharing your perspective and thoughts about Bobby.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part in promoting Bobby Roy as an Elk Grove School Board member. I support Bobby for very many reasons. I've known Bobby for many years. We've met at the California Department of Education. So I do know him professionally as well as personally, and what he's done in the community. So I do know he's qualified for the job because he is fully aware of, all of the laws and the different programs available. He worked in the exec office, and you had to know a little bit of everything as it related to education. And Bobby definitely learned a little bit of everything in every single aspect of the Department of Education. So that's one of the, the professional side. He could definitely do the job. That's no questions, hands down. But also knowing Bobby, I think it's important that we understand who he is as a person. And that's what I love most about him. We've done many things in the community together. I'm a parent. My son graduated from the Elk Grove School District. I have a 6th grader that's currently in the district. I have family members in the district. So I'm greatly passionate about where the school district is going. where it's been and where it's going. And I currently work with the Black Student Unions in Elk Grove Unified, particularly at Laguna Creek High School, but I help support all the other ones at the high school level. I also do parent advocacy for Concerned African American Parents Organization in Elk Grove. So he's helped me in all those aspects of Black Student Union, of the state organization that I'm affiliated with, United Black Student Unions of California. He's helped me with that organization. He's also been involved with, I helped him with when he was doing National History Day with Mr. Piper, and he also has done Filipino youth conferences that I've helped him with. So I've seen him in the community working hard. One thing that I can say about him, he what you see is what you get. He's truly committed to everything. And hearing the last speaker, hearing that he designed the cover of the yearbook, I didn't know he was also an artist, but he's a man of many talents. His word is everything. He tries to understand before he makes decisions. So I think with all of his experience, with his heart, and with his ethics as a person, I think he would be great to lead any of us and any of our children, because I know that he would only lead them to success and give everything that he has for them. So I appreciate the time that you've given me to say all these things about him. And there's so much more I can say. I just don't want to sound redundant, but he truly is. And I don't know if you really know Bobby, you'll know, like, he has this little Superman thing, and he likes Superman. And I truly think he's a Superman because he is a champion for education. And he's just a great man. So please help me support him in his quest to become our next Elk Grove trustee.
Kishaun, thanks so much. So profound coming from a parent who's also been a colleague, but like in every community, we all play 1,000 different roles and we interact in so many different ways. And Kishaun, your heartfelt story is really compelling. And it's a great reminder, though, that if voters heard what we've heard so far and seen what we've seen so far, that we know Bobby would win the election overwhelmingly. But voters are paying attention to a lot of other things right now. Some of them are fleeing all the news and everything else just to find some space that is safe or sane for them. Others are organizing or activated around national politics. There's a gazillion ballot propositions coming up this November. There's so many other things that people are paying attention to. So although what we know about Bobby and what we've heard about Bobby today is that's a slam dunk. It's like, of course, that's who we want to represent us on the school board. But we know that, and so many other people don't yet know Bobby. Or what we saw in the slideshow is pretty much everybody has met Bobby, but maybe they don't remember. Maybe there's that moment that we have to just call that back up again. Remember when you met Bobby at the pancake breakfast, or at the march, or at the school board meeting, or when you needed some help? Remember, that's the same guy that's running for school board now, and that's why this event is so important, and your support is so critical to help both the dollars, but also the person power to get the word out and make sure that folks get that chance to know the Bobby that we do. Now we're going to hear, and somebody who knows a lot about this is our next presenter. Vang is the co-executive director of Hmong Innovating Politics, and also the chair of Ethnic Studies now here in Elk Grove, who's an organizer. So she knows as well as any of us the importance of connecting with real people in order to achieve change, like in this election. So Chong, if you wouldn't mind unmuting yourself and giving us some of your insights and wisdom.
Thank you, Mayor, for that introduction. Just a quick, I'm actually the Director of Statewide Organizing for Hmong Innovating Politics. And hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. as the mayor said, my name is Vang, and in addition to being to my day job, I'm also a resident and a homeowner in Elk Grove Unified School District. As I don't have any kids myself, I am the proud auntie of tons of, I say tons because I have a lot of nieces and nephews in the district, and the work that, you know, I think it's I see Bobby doing is also fighting for my nieces and nephews. So as the mayor said, I am an organizer, and as many of you know, Bobby is an organizer, and we, as the chair of Elk Grove's ethnic studies, ethnic study now, we began our campaign a few years ago, and he has been a champion for us and also for our young people, and Bobby has this extensive understanding of what the diversity of Elk Grove Unified School District is, and that is so important for a school board trustee to understand what populations are in his district, but also in his area too, right? I've seen Bobby's ability to really just fight for all of our students and not just a certain group of students, right? As we're going to school board meetings for Elk Grove for the ethnic studies work, I see Bobby at every single school board meeting. But in addition to that, whenever I go out into the community as an organizer, I'm always working with other groups, also working with other coalitions. I see Bobby there all the time, and he doesn't only represent the Filipino community, but he is representing other groups. For example, he's on the board of Union, and I tell this little funny joke because my day job, I do some committee work, and we invite Southeast Asians the Union community, and Bobby shows up, and Bobby's not representing the Filipino community, but Bobby's representing the Union community because, I think there's also capacity, and that's the thing about Bobby, right? Bobby is fighting for all of us, and not just for a certain group. And in addition, I think the most important piece for me the moment I decided to support Bobby was that I've seen Bobby's extensive knowledge of the district and also the state policies that is necessary for a board of trustees to understand, right? So that they can also implement it and really make sure that there's equitable access for all our students. And this is actually the reason why I really believe that Bobby is the right person for Elk Grove Unified School District. And with that, I think it's so important. So as I'm speaking, I just made a donation, so you can actually multitask. I'm speaking and making a donation. So I'm asking everyone to make sure that they are giving to Bobby, because he cannot win without our contributions. And then in addition to the contribution, your time to volunteer to phone bank is so important too. And let's get Bobby to win, and because we know that there's going to be a lot of fights moving forward, and Bobby's the right person for this job. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Bobby shows up. Right? That sounds like actually that's a pretty good launch on it. Bobby Roy shows up. And so true. So thanks so much. Next, we're going to hear from Paolo Soriano, who's a counselor at Casumas River College and who works with so many students in the community and on their way to more opportunities into post-secondary education. So Paolo, feel free to unmute yourself and join the party.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Cabaldon, and welcome again, everyone. I'm deeply honored for the opportunity to share this space with you all, and for allowing me to take part in this, in supporting my good friend, Bobby Roy. As was mentioned already, as a counseling faculty member at Casumas River College, which is part of the Los Rios Community College District here in Sacramento, at CRC, a majority of our students come from Elk Grove Unified School District. So I'm fairly confident when I say that, I know what our students need. And as others mentioned here already, you know, I'm fairly biased because I know Bobby and I consider him a dear friend. But for as much as I respect and love him as a person, I have even more respect for him as a leader and community organizer. I met Bobby almost 15 years ago when I first got involved with the community here in Sacramento. When we were still an undergrad at UC Davis, we were serving as youth counselors for the Filipino American Youth Leadership Conference. And yes, others have shared too that, you know, I distinctly remember him showing up in a Superman costume. But not just that, and you know, for all that Superman represents, that I also believe Bobby emanates and represents himself at the very core. But it wasn't that impressed me. It was also that he could do a double toe touch. So that's a fun fact that I just wanted to throw in there. And I'm fairly sure he could still do it too. But over time, you know, I've gotten to know Bobby, and yeah, as a friend, as a professional, as an educator, we've had several conversations, you know, encompassing social justice issues and issues that affect the community, the Philam community and students of color, and also, you know, pertaining to the youth. So Bobby understands that every young person has the right to pursue their highest potential. And like me, in at the core of what I do, he will do everything he can to remove barriers to their success. So as an educator, I'm supporting Bobby because I know he'll use this elected position to do what's best for outgrowth students. I also know he'll advocate for what's best for not only all students, but especially the most vulnerable and the most disproportionately impacted students affected by district policies and practices. So please, I give what you can, whether that's time to volunteer, you know, money, or your ability to influence people to give their time and money. So join me in supporting Bobby Wah, as I learned that, you know, it can also be pronounced, as the next Elk Grove Unified School District Board of Trustee. Thank you.
Paolo, thanks so much. So we've heard from elected officials and trustees of the district. We've heard from teachers. We've heard from activists and organizers. We've heard from higher education. We've heard from parents. We've heard from colleagues. We've heard from longtime friends. So we've heard a lot about Bobby. So let's hear from the man of the hour himself. So would you please, without further ado, welcoming our next trustee for Area 3 at the Elk Grove Unified School District, Mr. Bobby Roy.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Mayor Cabaldon, Board Member Madison, you know, just everyone that spoke, Paolo, Kishaun, you know, thank you so much for all of your support and everyone that's here today. As you already know, I'm running for school board, and, you know, I'm gonna lay out a little bit of, you know, about me a little bit that you haven't heard yet. And the thing that I really liked about all of the speakers is that, oh, and of course, Christina, you know, thank you so much. But when I think about all of those speakers, I think about they've all been in the district and at several levels, right, of the district. They're all around education, empowering people, bringing people up. And you know, that's just kind of the law of proximity, right? Like, who you are around is who you are. And when I think about that, my favorite word is empowerment. And I love empowering people. And that has been like my whole life. I've also learned that knowledge, you know, they say that knowledge is power, and I'm sure we've all heard that. But really, it's potential power. Applied knowledge is kinetic power. And that's where we really create change in what we do, right? And so all of the things that have been talked about me, you know, going through all of these leadership programs, working for the Department of Education, where, as Kishaun said, I worked in the executive office and I was a clerical worker. I answered the phones, but I did learn about a little bit about every aspect of education because we got calls from all over the state about that. And as a result, I've since then been able to dig down into various programs where today, every day, I get to defend the rights of students to get a meaningful and relevant education. And and that's a privilege to be able to do that for students and families that feel like their rights have been, violated, And sometimes, it's true, their rights have been violated, and we get to rectify that, we get to make them whole. In other cases, they haven't. But during that time, it's important to make that an experience where they can learn about their rights and move forward together, right? And we can all work together to make education better. That's the kind of attitude, that's the kind of perspective, that's the kind of approach that I want to take onto the school board. The school board has been doing some great things as I've monitored what's going on and keeping up with everything that's happening. I've never taken my eye off of the district because it's my home district. I got so much from this district coming up through the public school system. And it's just something that has been ingrained in me forever. Every year I go back and I volunteer at different high schools to do the FAFSA, filling out the FAFSA for our students and how they can get financial aid, because I don't want money to be a barrier to their financial, to their approaching higher education or going into their career field or just becoming a strong contributing member to society. I also try to speak in as many events and attend these youth conferences because I want to empower students. Because what I do know is that when a student has that belief, that confidence, they can get through a lot. And what we're going through right now are 4 major crises: a health pandemic, an economic crisis, the racial uprising, as well as an infodemic. And it was noted earlier that, we're competing, my campaign is competing with a lot of other information right now. So what we're dealing with is that for this election, we have a voter universe of 160,000 registered voters in the district. 90,000 of them show up during these presidential elections. So they vote every year. I have a goal of trying to get 55,000 votes. I have to reach out to that many people. And that's where your funding will go, right? It's gonna go to implement our outreach plan. That's where your sweat equity, your volunteer hours are gonna go to put into our outreach plan and get those 55,000 votes. I'm not asking you for these resources or your time and your money for me. I'm asking for these resources for all of the students in Elk Grove Unified, for the community that Elk Grove Unified resides in, and really for the state and the country that we're all a part of. Because I do believe that this effort, this challenge is something that we can overcome, that we can get through, right? So whether it's a student in a mainstream classroom, a special education student, maybe it's a student in a gifted and talented education program, a homeless student, a student in the foster system, every one of those students deserves to achieve their fullest potential. And I am committed and I will be consistent in fighting for that. I will always ask that question of who are we missing? Because we can't leave anyone behind. Everyone needs to feel included and that they belong. So even in whether it's professionally or personally and in the community work that I do, it's really grounded in making sure that people are able to live a wonderful, thriving life, that they get to enjoy the fruits of, economic justice, social justice, political justice, and that it's really something that everyone can achieve, that none of these labels that get placed on us end up affecting our determinant in life and where we end up, right? I want everyone to have that chance and that opportunity. So in the short term, right, my goals are definitely to work on making sure that distance learning is equitable. That means getting the equipment out there, making sure that the people are connected, and really trying to make sure that we're taking care of that. At the same time, let's get students back in the schools, because some students are more vulnerable during this time, right? Our younger students, socialization is so important to their learning. And I was able to make sure that we are trying to do that, right? As we as we navigate this health crisis right now. We're engaging in testing. We're trying to make sure that we have up to the minute information so that when folks get tested, or when we do open up schools and the state offers those waivers and things, that we can react and we can pivot appropriately to keep everyone safe. At the same time, during this election, I am also a big proponent for Prop 15. We need to bring funding into schools to pay for these things, right? And what Prop 15 does for Elk Grove Unified in particular is that it's expected to bring in $38 million to the district every year. What could we do with $38 million for all of those students that I named earlier? The mainstream student, the special ed student, the gifted student, right? All of those students that could use these materials and these resources. Socio-emotional learning, we're all going through this pandemic right now. We're all undergoing an extra level of pressure. And so when it comes to mental health services and taking care of people, I want to definitely center care. I want to center the provision of wellness into the district already does this, but how can we enhance it? How can we tweak it, especially for this time? Because this time is extra on top of the bullying that students are already facing, the pressure to academically succeed, the pressures of home, the pressures of their friends, the pressure of social media, of the internet, and just this achievement kind of culture that we have now, right? So all of that needs to happen. In the medium term, I talked about empowering people, and I really want to make sure that parents and families and caring adults know what their rights are under the parent improvement laws, getting them involved in the different school site councils, advisory committees, school and district level, and just making sure that they know how to get plugged in and how to influence where that funding is coming in. They can influence how that funding is being spent at their school. In the long term, of course, it is about equity. And it's fully about making sure that we get rid of these barriers. So at the Department of Education, I served on the Government Alliance on Race and Equity, where I learned a few tools. And I really want to, improve upon and enhance the equity plan that Elk Grove District has already courageously put forward and that they're going to do. I want to enhance our understanding of targeted universalism, where our universal goals, yes, they're universal, but we have to do targeted efforts in order to help others achieve where they want to go. We can't give everyone the same size pair of shoes. We have to give them the right pair of shoes for their foot size and where they're coming from and the strengths and the challenges that they bring to the table. So we're gonna bring them, that as we work and we seek to achieve equity. All of that being said, I'm incredibly proud to be in this position. And I've gotten here because so many people poured into me. Mr. Piper was mentioned, and he had this great quote that he used to say, God bless America. And only in America could all of this happen, where an only child born to a single parent, raised by that single parent, single mom and that grandmother, could grow up in not considered the best area of town, and overcome challenges to really feel truly blessed and amazed and able to serve others in a way that's fully just fulfilling. And that's the commitment that I want to bring. That's the opportunity I want to bring to others in the district. That's what I want to bring to others in my life. And I need your help to do that. So I just want to thank you again for all of your support that you've already given me, all the support that you're giving me today, and all of the support that you'll give me moving forward. Between now and November 3rd, we have less than 50 days to get the job done. But now is definitely the time that we can surge forward in this race, that we can surge forward and bring the best of what Sacramento, what South Sacramento and what the Elk Grove District has, and bring it the best to our students, our families, and our communities. Thank you so much.
Wow, Bobby, that's super inspiring. And we just saw the person that everyone else described. And what a powerful step forward this will be for Elk Grove and for the community. Thanks so much. And do we have the map, the district map that we could see, just for folks who, this is important just to understand the scope of what we're talking about. both in terms of what Bobby just described for the work that's got to get done for neighborhoods and for kids in every part of Area 3, but also to understand how big it is, how many people we're talking about. It's enormous. When Bobby said he wants to get 55,000 votes or more, just for some context, that's like about 3 times more than I got running for mayor. So this may seem like a race we can get our arms around. It's big. And it's expensive, and we're in a time when campaigning is being reinvented, and so much of our tried and true work for how to organize and how to uplift people and give them their voice without having resources to do so, a lot of those tools are not with us right now. So we're inventing new tools, and the campaign and the host committee and Bobby are working hard on that. So maybe let's take a look at some of the ways that we can all get involved, as we're just over now 45 days away from November 3rd. But also with ballots coming out in just a couple of weeks, the campaign is right now, and many voters will be voting early. So we can support Bobby by donating. They're absolutely critical. Second is to show a lawn sign, but that also gets back to number 1, donating. I think some folks are surprised. A lawn sign is $6, $7, $8, $9 just to produce one single lawn sign. So we're like, oh my God, I hope we have thousands and thousands of lawn signs out. We got to work to get those signs out, but we also have to pay for them. And so donating is a key part of making that strategy happen. Door hangers in a district of this size is important. It's expensive, but it also takes our power as individuals to get out there and hit the streets to put those door hangers up in neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood inside the district. We're phone banking and text banking to communicate with voters that we can't knock on the doors. We can't meet folks at a labor picnic. We can't see them in other ways. And so phone banking and text banking are more important than ever. On the other hand, you can do them from home and participate in ways that weren't possible before either. You can host chats with folks voters in the community to get to know Bobby, just like we did today, and assemble groups and groups of your friends, your colleagues, your neighbors, others that you know that once they get to hear from and meet Bobby and hear his story and his vision for the community and for the district, that they'll get excited too. And then lastly, and I want to just emphasize lastly, because we got to build all the rest of the campaign for social media to work, social media to amplify the voice and the connection that we're making with voters throughout the community in order to assure Bobby's success, to be all over the place with all kinds of audiences and promoting the positive, compelling, inspired vision that Bobby is bringing to Area 3 and to Elk Grove Unified. So much for us to do. So please be sure to make your donation, to volunteer by clicking in the links that are in the chat. And as a special thanks, we want to say thank you today. I know many of you have been already donated once, 2, 3, 4, 10 times. You've volunteered. Keep doing it. Folks like Chet and Dave Tamayo and I and others who are elected officials ourselves. We know what it takes, and none of us would be in the roles that we've been blessed to be able to serve in without folks. I was going to say folks like you, but actually in most cases you specifically. And you've made it happen so many times. You've changed communities. You've changed the future. You have a chance to do it again. We really, really appreciate all of your support for Bobby and being with us for a fun little morning on a Saturday. So in the chat, we've posted Bobby's playlist. We're about to post Bobby's playlist so that you can enjoy some of his favorite tunes as we close out the day, and with a little bit of inspired entertainment and music from Bobby. And let's get to work and make this happen. Bobby Roy 2020. Thanks, everyone.
They didn't listen
All right, thanks y'all. Have a great Saturday and let's get to work.